Hi, boys and girls, it's Shane. Should a landlord be responsible for removing ghosts from a tenant's house? That's a serious question. I was asked it by a tenant about 3 years ago. Let me tell you the story. The home that is now my vampire den Airbnb was once a single family rental. At least we tried to have it as a single family rental. After the tenants moved in, they started experiencing some paranormal events, at least what they perceived to be paranormal events, and contacted me to ask about the home, how old it was, and I explained that it was from at least 1905, but it could be older because the records back then are kind of murky. And they're like, oh, so people could have passed away in this house. And of course, people could have passed away in your house. It's an old home, but that could also happen with any home. Afterwards, they got a little bit more afraid, and it culminated after they'd been there about a month in a phone call. So they called me up, and I said, hello. And they said, you know how you're responsible for taking care of termites or something like that that's in the house? And I said, yes. They said, well, we've been experiencing some weird things. And so we hired some paranormal investigators to come check the home out. And they discovered a gateway to hell. I think it was a portal to hell that was in the home, right at the bottom of the stairs. And if that portal to hell were not closed, they were afraid that it could destroy half the city. The paranormal investigators explained to them that it could allow numerous demonic entities into our city, and it could unalive many, many people, and it would be catastrophic. So they needed $2,500 from them to close the portal. These tenants did not have $2,500, so they called me and wanted me to pay that $2,500. So yes, you know how you're responsible for taking care of termites? Well, wouldn't you also be responsible for taking care of ghosts in the house? I don't know how I was able to not laugh out loud at that phone call, but it was not a phone call I was prepared for as a landlord. And as landlords, if you talk to us, we all have some stories of this or that, but that is my strangest phone call as a landlord. Will you pay to close the portal to hell from the paranormal investigators that are obviously totally legitimate that want to charge me $2,500 to close this portal to hell? Obviously, I didn't ever pay the money. They stayed in the house for another year and a half maybe. And I don't know if they paid the money to have the portal to hell closed, and maybe that's why I've never experienced anything strange. But I spent a good 6 months working in that house before they moved in it, and I never experienced any strange activities whatsoever. Although I did find this book underneath it, and I started reading it aloud before they moved in. This part right here, Klaatu, Varatu, Necktie. Yeah. So I do remember reading from that before they moved in. I'm sure that's not in any way related.